The sponsor of this episode is Chadwell Supply, an OG in the multifamily industry. Chadwell Supply is the largest privately owned maintenance and repair supplier, and they deliver orders the next day from local warehouses across the United States. To find out how Chadwell Supply will make your day better, visit www.chadwellsupply.com/difference.
Hello, and welcome to Optimized, a marketing performance podcast brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network. I'm your host, Janet Rosseth, a 25-year veteran of multifamily marketing. This podcast is going to challenge you to reach 1% better somewhere in your daily life, and optimizing is how we do that together. Whether it's bringing your personal best to your work and life, or building efficient work processes, maybe uncovering new trends, making sense of meaningful data, we're going to dig in and find that 1% together. Today, it's just me, no guest today. I really wanted to just come on here and talk to you about optimizing under stress. I think we're always under stress, personal, work, societal, physical. I've seen so many people with loss of job or changing jobs, maybe relationships and worry about loved ones. So much happening in life, and it's really just a matter of how much it's impacting other areas of your life. So today, I really wanted to just take a couple of minutes and talk to you about my 5 laws of surviving stress. I have developed these over the course of probably a lifetime, but really the last couple of years. I've been under a lot of stress myself, both in my professional and personal life, and just really started to see a trend in 5 areas. And when one is off, it seems like everything's off a little bit. So these have really become my laws of surviving stress. I'll tell you what they are, and then I'll break them down, okay? So the first one is sleep, exercise, decent food, water, and get outside. That's the 5. All 5 every day is optimal, but I have to be intentional to hit them. And knowing their importance, this is really kind of the first thing I question when I'm not feeling or performing well. It's more of a self-diagnosis, much like if you took your car in for repair or you have a doctor's appointment. There's a simple set of diagnostics that they start with to begin identifying sources of any issues. So I've used this list for enough years to turn it into a preventative tactic. When I know I'm approaching stressful conditions, I start focusing on this list early. Am I perfect? Heck no, but I try for progress over perfection. And as long as I'm aware, I am a little more intentional on getting all 5 of these in. The way I see it, your body keeps score and it's always going to win. So if you don't treat it right, it's eventually going to demand that it is treated right. So let's talk about each of these. They all impact each other, whether you're missing one or crushing one. Let's break them down. So sleep is first. It is so underrated. A good night of sleep, or just sleep in general, can change your whole perspective. That's why people say, let's sleep on it before making a decision or finishing a conversation. 8 hours, of course, is optimal, but that's pretty tough to get, especially when you have a really busy life. So it's tough to achieve every night. Get as close as you can. Help it along if necessary. I love my melatonin gummies, can't lie. Good bedtime routines are important. So if you have the same routine each evening that you decompress a little bit by reading or watching a show. I'm going to admit I'm not perfect at putting the phone down. I've always got to scroll one last time before I go to bed. But pay attention to timing as well. So if you know that for the next couple of nights, you're not going to get great sleep or you're not going to get enough sleep, then make sure that within a few nights, you do have the ability to get a full night's sleep and try to time that out. Nap if you need to, but no more than 20 minutes. And schedule a lazy day if needed, but not too much because it can go the wrong direction. So that's my focus on sleep. Let's talk next about exercise. Prioritize it, but don't overthink it. Let's talk about Newton's law. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Too much time on the couch equals physical breakdown, tired all the time, poor choices in diet, and it becomes a snowball effect. But also, Newton's law, a body that's in motion stays in motion. It doesn't take that much. Even 2 minutes of exercise is better than nothing. I often try to just ask myself, What is, if I'm going to sit here and watch one more episode of Netflix because I'm taking a decompressing day, what would be the worst thing if I get up and do 10 push-ups or 10 jumping jacks with the next 2 minutes, and then I press play again, instead of just continuing with 2 hours of no motion whatsoever? So here are some possibilities for you. Take a walk around the block. Do 10 push-ups or 10 squats. Ways to sneak it in a little bit. You got to think of these things. Where can you sneak it? Can you sneak it in between a Netflix episode? Can you sneak it in between Zoom meetings? It is really amazing what you can do with even 30 seconds of time. Can you do it 3 days in a row? Because 3 days in a row makes a habit. It quickly fires up your energy level. It makes you sleep better. It often leads to drinking water, and it often leads to decent food choices. So wherever you can get just that little bit of exercise in is a really good idea. We talked about ways that you can get 2 minutes here and 30 seconds there. But once you get to the point where your body really craves that exercise, you're probably going to want more. So maybe you're going to find that first thing in the morning is a really good time for you to get all those endorphins firing. So perhaps you'll do a 20-minute workout or a 30-minute walk, or go for a little run or a bike ride, or even just look up YouTube for a yoga session or Pilates or, abs from home. There is so much free content out there that you can use to just create your own exercise routine and get your body in motion. Let's talk about decent diet. The 80-20 rule. This is where I try to stay. I'm not perfect at it, but I try to stay there. Indulging in moderation prevents you from falling off the wagon completely. So start with good choices first thing in the morning, if possible, and combine things if necessary. If you have to have coffee, which I do, add collagen to it or coconut oil to bring in a little something healthy and good for you. Love a little ice cream? Replace it with a smoothie and add some protein. How about fruits and veggies? The hardest thing to find in convenience foods. This one kills me when I'm traveling. Pack them if you need to, or stop at a grocery store instead of fast food and find a couple of prepackaged items that you can throw in your bag. Drop what drags you down. For me, it's gluten and sugar, but I crave both of them. So here are my wins. Rice is always a win for me. I turn everything into a bowl. Blue corn tortilla chips, I can turn everything into a nacho. Sweet potatoes can be sweet or savory, so it could be breakfast or dinner for me. Sugar, I can't resist it, so I'm always near a handful of dark chocolate chips or Welch's fruit snacks. It's not perfect, but at least it's better than nothing. Stress comes out my body and my skin, and it often results in injuries. So this is where I really get pretty focused on diet. It's also the first place I fall off the wagon when I'm under a lot of stress. I don't eat as well. I eat convenience foods. I crave the junk, and it's only a matter of time, maybe 3 weeks, before everything starts to break down a little bit, and I've got to get myself back to this list of 5. Let's talk about water. Drink it, swim in it, bathe in it, shower in it, walk around in it, run your hands under it. It is amazing how good water is for you, especially drinking it, because obviously our bodies are made up of water. So anywhere that you can add drinking water is a really good idea, instead of a soda in the afternoon, or instead of the first thing having coffee in the morning. I often drink a glass of water before I drink my coffee. So while it's brewing, I force down a glass of water just to start that counter for the day. I try to drink 8 glasses of 8 ounces of water. And, I'm sitting here with the ginormous water bottle right here. So I know that if I fill that 3 times, I usually hit my goal, and I try to just sneak it in. I'm not great at filling my water bottle and carrying it around all the time. So while I'm making my lunch, I refill it and drink as much as I can right there. While I'm exercising, I drink a whole bottle of water. When I make my coffee in the morning, I drink a whole bottle before I go to bed. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but it works for me. Think carefully about the beverages that you've had in your day. Was water the most frequent today? If it wasn't, go back and add some right now. You don't have to sip on it all day long. Just drink it down right now, and then you've got it in. And if you need to make it flavorful, that's okay. Add some electrolytes to hydrate faster, or a pinch of salt or a squeeze of lemon. That might make it go down a little better. Here's the deal. Water can be really calming too. So it's not just something that your body needs in it. You also just need to be around it. I live in Minnesota, which is the land of 10,000 lakes. So it's easy for me to find a lake. Walking around a lake or putting your feet in the water or even a fountain nearby. If you work in a corporate center and you've got a fountain nearby, just get yourself around water. It can be really calming.
Chadwell Supply is the proud sponsor of Multifamily Media Network. Chadwell Supply is the largest privately owned MRO supply company and is committed to the multifamily industry. They deliver orders the next day from local warehouses across the United States. Chadwell Supply offers valuable resources such as maintenance training, a dedicated renovations team, and procurement platform assistance, ensuring multifamily properties operate more efficiently. Now, by partnering with Chadwell Supply, they'll help communities stand out in an increasingly competitive market. So learn more at chadwellsupply.com/difference.
Here's a cool, interesting fact too. Running your hands under cold water or putting cold water behind your earlobes can have an antidepressant effect. Did you know that? I didn't know that until about a year ago. It can lower your heart rate, reduce cortisol levels, and release endorphins. So when you're thinking that you're stressed and you need to just calm down a little bit, just those simple things of running your hands under cold water or putting a little bit of cold water behind your ears or going out and walking around water can make such a big difference. All right, get outside. This is one of my must-haves every single day. Fresh air is natural therapy, and I love getting out in nature. So if I'm cooped up in someplace where I'm at a conference, where it's a downtown urban area, and it's hard to find a park setting or a nature trail or a lake, that gets me a little bit stressed right there because I just need to find nature. So fresh air is natural therapy, especially anywhere that you can find tall trees, a body of water. I have kind of a theory that the taller the pine tree, the deeper the exhale. So the further north I go, the taller the pine trees get, and I feel like stress just sort of drops off of me at that point. So try to get away from man-made stimulation where you can. Try to walk barefoot on actual earth. This is called grounding, grass, sand, etc. It can be very, very grounding. Also, a fancy new trend, it's called forest bathing. I call it walking outside in nature, but if you look it up, it's actually all about dropping your headphones, going, perhaps by yourself or with a friend, but just quietly taking in nature. If you're out walking in a wooded trail or a state park, wherever it may be, just try to really calm yourself down by focusing on what you're seeing and what you're hearing, maybe what you're smelling, and really look for elements of nature. Maybe look at the line of bark on a tree or the pattern that it makes. Sometimes I really calm myself down by watching a leaf move down a river or a creek. I know that sounds so boring, but you would be surprised if you just completely focus on that little bit of motion, how much you can hear the water, you can see the water moving, you can see the nature, and it just really takes you down a couple of notches on having your heart rate up so high or your blood pressure level up. These are some of the tactics that I really looked for. A couple years ago, my dad spent a lot of time in the hospital, and that was a hard place for me to be because it's all man-made. It's all it's stressful. Hospital time is horrible. Nothing happens when it says it's going to happen, and you're always waiting for answers somewhere. And every time you want to leave, you're worried you're going to miss something. So I would just look for little opportunities. And there was a creek near the hospital, and this was one of the tricks I used when I could just get out for a couple of minutes. I'd just go sit and I'd listen and I'd watch and I'd just calm down a little bit. So wherever your tactic needs to be, find a little bit of nature, turn your headphones off, listen a little bit, acknowledge where you see nature forces at work, animals, falling leaves, flowers blooming, water flowing. Just refocus your mind a little bit. Also, you can combine all of these. This is the cool thing. This is what I've learned when I have very little time or a busy schedule. It's tough to fit these things in. I'm not in a location where I can easily work out or go for a walk in nature. You can combine these things and group them together. So grab a cup of fruit and go for a walk in fresh air. There's 3 right there. Find some nature sounds on an app on your phone and curl up to take a little nap. There's sleep and nature. Add some water to your exercise routine and go out and do it outside. There's nature, exercise, and water. You see how you can cluster these together. If you only have time at lunch, grab a good salad, eat it outdoors, by a fountain, bare feet in the grass. I mean, come on, you just got 4 of them right there. Or maybe do a set of wall push-ups and drink a little water while you're waiting for your food to cook. It's really easy to get things in, and you'd be surprised at the littlest changes that make your body feel so much better. So here's my question for you. How often can you hit all of these in one day? It can be so easy. It can be 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I've had conversations with clients of mine about, decompressing stress a little bit by just closing your office door and do 10 wall push-ups, 10 squats, 10 jumping jacks. Seems weird, right? But that is just 10 of each of those. And it is amazing how much your body will just shift back into your heart rate being down a little bit. You feel good about getting a little energized. Your endorphins are up a little bit. And it really helps you get through maybe that afternoon slump where you were having a tough time focusing. So good preventative medicine for when you can't get all those things individually in one day. You can just fit 3, get 3 out of them, 3 out of the 5 or 2 out of the 5, and then reboot the next day and try for all 5, but try to make a mental note. Here's a tip for you too. I'm a big fan of Atomic Habits by James Clear. I think the book is right behind me here. He really talks about making things easy to achieve. And he's also got a really cool app that you can download on your phone, and you can actually add a habit that you want to create into the phone and add timing of when you want to do it. And the app will notify you to just click it off to remember to do it. So maybe you put these 5 things in your app, in your phone: exercise, sleep, water, decent food, and outdoors. Check off those 5 things each day and see if you made it. And when you're feeling down or you're feeling off or you're just feeling extra stressed out, ask yourself, just stop for a second and pause and ask yourself when the last time was that you got all 5 of those things. I bet anything you will think of one of those things that's really been missing. Sometimes for me, it's water. It's just water. That's the simplest thing to add back in. When you know someone else is feeling off, invite them into the 5. Maybe you've got a coworker that's really stressed out. Maybe you've got a friend that's going through a job loss and interviewing again now, and just adding those 5 into a routine can really help. So I hope that you can find a little bit of optimization in your personal well-being off of my list of 5. It's not perfect. I'm no expert. I'm just a normal person who deals with a lot of stress in my life too, just like you. And I have found ways to just optimize my own well-being a little bit. And I look for it in others as well, and try to bring somebody a glass of water in the day, or ask someone to go for a walk, or take the dog out in a little bit of nature. Man, pets can be therapy right there too. That should be number 6. So I hope you got a little something out of this episode. Thanks for taking time today with me. Hopefully you found a little bit of inspiration. If you're a marketing influencer or not marketing at all, either operations or supplier, be sure to check out Cadence Marketing Solutions and specifically explore Run Club online community. No actual running is necessary, but we've made it our mission to support marketers and lead you to the voices, resources, and tools that impact your success in this fast-paced industry. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe, or share it. And visit the Multifamily Media Network to learn more about our other industry podcasts, thought pieces, and sponsorship opportunities. I think they've just added a few new hosts, so I'm looking forward to a few podcasts myself. Until next time, I hope you find your 1%. Go out and chase that, those 5 elements to add into your day, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you again to Chadwell Supply for sponsoring this episode. Chadwell Supply delivers unforgettable service with next-day delivery, online and in-person maintenance training, procurement platform, assistance to make your ordering simple. Visit chadwellsupply.com/difference to learn how Chadwell Supply will make your day better.